you've automated everything except yourself. And I want to talk about this because your calendar is probably full, your team is in place, your systems are running, and everything still feels like it's running through you. Every decision roots back to you. Every problem escalates to you, and every moment of uncertainty becomes yours to carry. Okay. And if you are honest with yourself right now, you do not feel free. Be real with me. You feel responsible for everything and quietly replaceable by no one. That's the kicker. So let me just say what nobody around you is saying. You did not build a business, you built a system that still needs you to survive. Okay. And this is the major problem. Okay. Most founders misdiagnose this. They think it's a systems problem, they think it's a hiring problem, a time management problem. It's none of these things. You got to go deeper to the foundation. It's you. This is not a criticism, all right? It's just a diagnosis because founders today are more optimized than ever in history, okay? 15-minute work blocks, AI compressing hours into minutes, SOPs for everything. And still more overwhelmed than ever, more scattered, more internally fractured than they've ever been. You're moving faster, sure, but you're not moving forward. You're spinning your wheels because you're engineering everything outward while the real breakdown is happening inside. And no amount of external optimization fixes an internal bottleneck. Okay. I see this every single day. Venture studios with calendars so packed they look like a damn kindergarten color chart. Back to back morning calls from noon to night. Okay. Barely enough time to eat and forget taking a bio break. I know co-founders with massage therapists on standby because they've been coding for months straight and can't even move their damn forearms. They can't even look at another screen. CTOs grinding for hundreds of hours a week to hit a deadline that once hit simply becomes the launch pad for another impossible deadline. And here's the part that nobody's saying out loud. They hit the goal. They ship the product. They close the deal and nothing changes. There's no relief. Just the next demand waiting, the next fire, the next deadline. And over time, something starts to wear down, not externally, but internally. Okay. We're humans here. We're not robots. The focus drops, your patience shortens, your clarity disappears. You are still producing, but at a cost you cannot fully see yet. That is not hustle. That is a slow collapse dressed up as ambition. Let me promise you that, okay? I have personal experience in this. I know this pattern because I lived it. There was a period of time where everything looked like it was working. Momentum was building, opportunities expanding. From the outside, it looked solid. But behind the scenes, I was in everything, every single decision, every client situation, every moving piece. And I told myself it was necessary, that this is just what it takes when you actually care, that if I want it done right, I have to be involved. But the truth was, I did not know how to step back. I remember sitting late one night, I have my laptop open and I'm looking at a problem I could solve. I could solve it in 10 minutes, right? And I paused and I said, wait a minute. I just realized something in that moment. If I keep being the one who solves everything, this cycle never changes. Not next month, not next year, not ever. Okay. But the harder truth underneath all that was this. Okay. I'm not the one doing everything. Then who am I in this business? And that question hit deeper than I expected because it was not about systems. It was not about team. It was about my identity. My identity was built around being the one who holds it all together. So even as things grew, I stayed in the same role, just with more pressure, more responsibility, and a lot less space. And that's when it all clicked. This does not get solved by doing more. It gets solved by becoming someone different inside the business. But who was I if I wasn't making the sale or running the show? And when that shift actually starts to happen, everything changes, okay? Not just your schedule, your entire relationship to the business. When you shift, decisions stop bottlenecking at you, right? Your team starts to think for themselves, not because you told them to, because they have to. You get your mental space back. You can think again. You can see further ahead. You can stop reacting to the business and start shaping it. You move from being this engine to becoming the architect, okay? That is where real scale begins. And it's the hardest scale I see with founders, okay? But this is where most founders really, really, really get stuck, okay? Because the mind pushes back immediately. Nobody will do it as good as I can. If I step back, things are going to slip. This is just what it takes at this level. And the one thing that keeps you most locked in, this is temporary. It is not, because what you got here is the exact thing keeping you here. The habits, the thinking, the identity. You are trying to scale without updating the system that is running everything. And that system is you. You are the system. You have to reframe this. You are an operating system. You have been conditioned, reinforced, and rewarded for operating a specific way, and it worked. It built something really amazing. But now it is the constraint. Carl Jung, I love this guy. He spent his entire life studying this. The identity we build to survive eventually becomes the cage we cannot escape. The person that served us becomes the shadow that limits us. Even Steve Jobs got pushed out of Apple. Most people remember that as a failure, right? What they miss is that this was the time away that he created transformation, his cocoon phase. He did not come back the same person. He came back evolved. The version of you that built this business is not the version of you that scales it. And until that lands fully, you will keep trying to grow while holding on to a version of yourself that cannot support that growth. Now, there are 4 internal walls every founder usually hits, and most never name them. Most just keep running into them and calling it a bad hire or a bad marketing or a bad timing. Let me name them for you. The first wall is control. The belief that nobody will do it as well as you, that your fingerprints need to be on everything for it to be right. That belief is costing you everything, and it needs to change, because there is someone out there who will do your job better than you. And that is not a threat. That is the goal. But it requires you to loosen up your grip on something you have been white knuckling for years. The second wall is self-worth, and this is a big deal here. As the business grows and your original role becomes obsolete, something quietly starts to crack. Your identity, your sense of place, your sense of peace, the unspoken belief underneath it all. If I am no longer needed in this way, do I even matter? That is not a business problem. That is a core wound, and it will quietly sabotage every attempt at delegation, hiring, every system you try to build until you face it directly. The third wall is fear. Fear of the level up. Every new version of you requires the old version to die, and death, even symbolic death, is terrifying. We cling to what is familiar because familiar seems safe, even when familiar is the thing destroying us. See, part of you is dying right now, and part of you is growing. The founders who scale are the ones who learn to let go of the dead parts fast, enough to make room for what is emerging. Scaling is not just expansion, it's subtraction, okay? You got to take away that garbage. And the fourth wall is the incapacity to lead. Most founders never learned hardship. They learned leadership. So they either hold on to everything or they step back with no structure and hope the team figures it out. And when they do not, they blame the team. But your team is always a reflection of you. Always. These 4 walls are not character flaws. They are the natural result of being someone who built something from nothing. But they are also the ceiling. And until you name them, you cannot move through them. You have to turn into a real CEO. At a certain level, your role simplifies. A CEO has 3 jobs, okay? That's it, only 3. The first is to empower your people completely. Clarity, ownership, resources. Your job is to remove obstacles, not create them. The second is to build a culture where the excellence is the standard and safety is the foundation, where people are challenged enough to grow and secure enough to be honest. That combination is very rare. It is also everything you need. The third step is to step in only when it truly matters. Your team must be more capable than you in their domains. When they come to you, that is the moment. But if you are solving everything, you do not have a team. Okay, you have a dependency. So only help them if they come to you and they really need it. This business is not about you. It's about the mission. It's about the team. It's about the standard. And if you do not evolve internally, no external system will fix it. You are your greatest asset, but unexamined, you become your biggest constraint. So the real question is not how do I optimize my business? The real question is who do I need to become for this to run without me? Because that version of you is the one that actually scales. One thing before I go, okay? Identify which one of those 4 walls is the one that you keep running into. Is it control? Is it self-worth? Fear of the level up? Incapacity to lead? Just name it out loud if you have to, all right? Because you cannot move through what you refuse to see. Drop it in the comments. I want to read every single one. I'm curious which wall you're running up to. And if you're ready to go deeper, the link is in the bio. I will see you on the next one.